Well, on Friday, the president making his fifth trip to Michigan since taking office. The focus, of course, of the administration in Michigan, specifically the U.S. auto industry, calling it right here on the White House blog a comeback story. The administration touting the success of the government-assisted bankruptcies of GM and Chrysler. The president, in his address, really focusing on jobs and really focusing on the resurgence of the U.S. auto industry, saying auto sales, U.S. auto sales were down 40% in the year before he took office. So let's take a look at where GM and Chrysler sales have been in the last year. GM sales up 11% over the last year, and Chrysler sales up 35% over the last year. We'll get those latest numbers on that next week. But, the president also saying, I will bet on the American worker any day of the week. A big focus here on jobs. The White House saying the liquidation of GM and Chrysler, if the government hadn't stepped in, could have cost 1.1 million American jobs. I want you to take a listen to what the president said on the job front specifically.
Now, the worst thing about it is that if we had done nothing, not only were your jobs gone, but supplier jobs were gone, and dealership jobs were gone, and the communities that depend on them would have been wiped out. And by the way, when you talk to the CEO of Ford, he'll tell you that wouldn't have been good for Ford either, because a lot of those suppliers that they depend on might have gone out of business. Independent estimates suggest that more than 1 million jobs could have been lost if Chrysler and GM had liquidated.
Now, as for jobs at GM and Chrysler that both got major help, $85 billion worth of help from U.S. taxpayers to get through their bankruptcy. Let's take a look at the GM numbers. Over the last year, GM has actually shed 10,000 U.S. jobs, so they've lost that many jobs. But Chrysler has added just about 3,500 U.S. jobs. You also have to look at the dealerships because they're a big component. Overall, looking at U.S. auto dealers, they have shed 2,100 jobs since a year ago. Of course, a lot of focus on Michigan. Michigan's unemployment rate over 13%, the second highest in the nation. And the White House coming out with this report just today saying they're estimating that 102,000 jobs were created or saved in Michigan because of the Recovery Act through the end of June, because of $9 billion of that taxpayer money that was spent in Michigan specifically. Now, I did talk to one of the former heads of one of these big automakers here in the United States who told me, look, the administration here clearly has had some success, but he said it is a little too soon to declare victory just a year out from the bankruptcies of GM and Chrysler. A lot more on what the president said in Michigan. You can find it right here on CNN Money.